Why are you throwing shade on Martin this morning? What's happening?
You want me to say
what did I walk
their
into?
show is better? Heck no. We're in competition. We're not family.
We're all family here.
Nah, zero. Yes, I got friend zone. Thank you very much. 0701-984-984 SDG. Great that you reminded me. Another message coming in via that number happens to be from EO. EO. Yeah, says, nah, Chico, let the retrosexual men be good. Good show, by the way, Malika. He thinks you're having an amazing one.
Oh, that's sweet. I'm having a good time calling you my bro for sure.
Yo, back off, girl. Back off. Another interesting part of the conversation, Jacko Thies, who comes and says, my 2 cents. We may not be allowed into the facility. However, remember the facility is manned by human beings, and those humans will not spend their whole lives in the facility. At some point, they will go to town, they will go to their families, they will travel. So really, we may not be allowed into, but the personnel will be allowed out.
Precisely.
Hence why, when they're in the facility, they are geared up with equipment to protect them.
Even if they're wearing the protective suits, Chico, okay, fine, we understand. And Ebola is transmitted differently than, let's say, COVID, right? Because we're talking about exchange of fluid.
So, unless these guys
but
are going in with these American patients and having sexual relations or hugging them or kissing or working out and hugging each other, good workout, bro, where they exchange sweat. If you are fully covered, guys, the U.S. is providing the equipment as well.
Somebody coughs, a beaker breaks, you have broken skin. There's so many possibilities, right?
Yeah,
yes, take precaution, but we're just saying, why invite it in the first place? Thank you.
All right, don't invite it in. Don't invite visitors in. Yeah, Kenyans, y'all want to complain about a lot. I'll give you something to complain about. Your life could have been better. In fact, don't complain about it. Make your life better. Personal unsecured loans. Sound good? You can take that money and do something amazing, possibly something that impacts the world, like the guest we have in studio. We'll get to him in just a moment. But you, on the other hand, get an opportunity to get that unsecured loan of up to 8 million shillings with a repayment period of 120 months. That means you have years to finance that loan. All long-term personal expenses, including education, can be covered if you only visit one place, the bank, NCBA Bank to be exact. They have branches countrywide. You apply for that loan and you get it, or you could just save yourself the hassle and download the NCBA Now app on Play Store or App Store and get your loan instantly, while remembering terms and conditions apply.
Absolutely. And while you do get that, you might as well also ensure that it is insured. For example, property insurance. So NCBA IG Commercial Property Insurance, it exists to protect your real estate, your investments, your hard work, truly. So they provide a lot of cover. It could be a fire, a flood, even a burst pipe that damages everything inside. Those things are hectic. So basically, NCBA is saying, listen, whatever you do, we've got you covered. We will help you in such a scenario and make sure everything is okay. So insure every moment with NCBA.
Absolutely. Insure yourself. And let me assure you, the conversation that we're about to delve into will inspire you, hopefully, with this young generation. He's a real man. Not a nappy boy, not a pretty boy. Oh, well, I hope he doesn't mind. I took the liberty to look at you. I'm sorry. No, but a sensational name that you probably have heard. And in case you haven't, which rock do you live under? Joseph Nguthiru, UN Young Champion of Earth, Kenyan citizen, global phenomenon. The man is here in studio. Man, it's a pleasure to have you, my brother.
Thank you so
welcome
much.
to Capital in the Morning.
Asante, this is so much fun. Thank you.
Unanuka tu success na pesa.
I know. This is that young entrepreneur vibe.
Makes me look at myself and my silver fox and go like, is this all I leave to the world and my children? He had a kind of a
A phone that we were just like dissecting right now because it has a screen at the back of it. This is that.
Bra, first and foremost, congratulations once again. What an amazing award. Well deserved, I must say. So apart from that, just your general thoughts on that experience for you. What was going through your mind throughout the entire process?
Oh yeah, so thank you so much for having me. I love the show, and the conversation you're just having was really awesome.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. So UN Young Champion of the Earth. It's an award that's given annually. Should be annually by UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, and it basically highlights what young people are doing across the world in terms of helping restore the climate space, environment, biodiversity loss, pollution, such kind of thematic areas. I was privileged to have won it last year alongside two other people, one from India and another one from the US, and it was really amazing.
So you have a startup, and that's the idea and the crux, the whole foundation of the startup is around biodiversity and protecting the environment. So tell me a little bit about that and how the process was to apply for this award as well.
Oh, thank you. So my startup is called Hyapak. That's HYAPAK. And what we do at Hyapak is that we make biodegradable packaging materials, similar to plastic bags that are made out of water hyacinth. For context, water hyacinth is the world's most invasive aquatic weed. It grows in more than 70 countries around the world in freshwater bodies. And you know how it floats on water? So it blocks fishing, navigation. It's a big problem to irrigation, hydroelectric power. It's a breeding ground for mosquitoes that cause malaria, and so much more. You might know it from Lake Victoria, Lake Naivasha.
Yeah, the last time I visited Kisumu, the lake was definitely very much covered with hyacinth in different parts.
Yes, yeah. And other countries also. So how it started this was actually our final year project in the university, Egerton University. And we were on a boat ride at Lake Naivasha, and our boat got stuck on the lake because of the hyacinth. And we decided to do something about it for our final year project. And that project kind of blew up to become a spin-off and now a startup. And what we do is now we work with the community in around Lake Naivasha. They harvest the water hyacinth for us. Then they earn some extra income. Dry it, bring it over to our facilities in Nairobi at Kirdi. Then we do the whole processing to make it biodegradable packaging.
So this is not the only award that this man has actually won. We sit here and we're talking about this one, which is
very humbly, yes.
And he has different ventures. Hyapak is what we're talking about right now, but C2. C2 is one. It's an AI-powered early warning system designed to protect forests and by detecting the wildfires that could potentially ravish us, and especially outside this world, this country, in the U.S. areas.
Another planet, it's okay.
Another planet, why don't we? Oh my God, charcoal burning and illegal logging is also something that this one actually works against, which is brilliant because we need that here in this country. And then there's also the Afro Climate, which is a non-profit organization focused on empowering young African entrepreneurs to scale climate solutions across the continent, which we'll come back to because that's part of the conversation that I want us to have, considering the youth and unemployment situation that we have. But it's just interesting that beyond the UN Environment Program Young Champion of the Earth award, this guy has been celebrated globally, accolades including being named Obama Foundation leader, winning the Prototypes for Humanity Award at the COP28, and being listed as one of the 40 under 40 Africa for science and science and innovation.
We are sitting with a legend, clearly.
We are sitting
surely it's
with
a privilege.
The future and what the youth of this country we would like to see. This is an image bearing what we would ultimately like to see for this country in terms of the future. Now,
Thank you.
Not to take away from the serious conversation, I would bet he doesn't apply lip gloss.
Okay, I'm pretty sure there's a nice natural ingredient, one that he might just
He
veer
would
towards
become
a
an
lip
innovator now.
balm. Yeah,
he
yeah.
would create one, and that's understandable. But on a serious note, this award and all these awards must have had some kind of impact on you personally and professionally. Walk us through that one.
Oh my God, it's humbling. It's really humbling. And the moment you realize how much potential you have and how much the world needs solutions, it's mind blowing. I'll give you the story of MC2. So I happened to get I got into the Obama Foundation, and the first time we met President Obama was in Greece. So we went to Greece, beautiful place, and it happened to be in summer. So Greece in summer is terrible. There is heat wave, and the heat wave causes wildfires. And everyone I had met there, the people in the bartenders, the people working in the hotel, and so on, they had to leave work to go back home and, just try to salvage what they could and all that. And then we also happened that they closed down the airports, all this kind of stuff because of the heat wave.
Because of the heat, yeah.
Yeah, so I came back home here in Kenya and I was telling my friend, yo man, that was crazy. Hey, unajua tulifukuzwa kulikuwa na hii, you know how you hype up with your bros.
Yeah.
And then we were like, by the way, what if we made a system for that, telling these guys to check out of their homes before the wildfires got into their homes? It was like, oh yeah, this is cool, let's make it. So we started making something, but then we realized if you're making it in an African context like where we are, it probably wouldn't go that much because we don't have that much of fluctuations because we are the equator, right?
Yeah.
But our forests have deforestation, which is a big issue, the illegal logging of trees. So why don't we make the same system but for detecting deforestation? And so what we do right now together with KFS, Kenya Forest Service, is that we make this, and KONZA, is that we make these devices this size, 3D print them, put sensors that we've trained through machine learning, install them in the forest. They're able to scan like a whole 500 meters to a kilometer of radius, sending real-time data to cloud and then cloud to mobile phones. So ukianza kukata mti or something, it detects that, triangulates your location, KFS come and get you.
It's interesting. You should put that in Karura with all the conversations going so that we can have real-time.
Even in the
real-time
national
proof.
park.
Yeah, 100%.
So we've been running it in Ngong Forest for the last close to 2 years now. And we've had like really good attraction, and also you're going to be getting it to other countries, mostly Central African Republic and DRC for the equatorial forests that we have in Africa.
You know what really boggles my mind is he sits there and says what we hear time and again: look for a problem, create a solution, you have a recipe for success. But the way he put it is like, I experienced, I was like, oh man, this was crazy. What if how then the thought process, the creative process, how does that work?
Yeah, you just mentioned something crazy that which I think should be the basis of everything that has ever come out that is worthwhile. It's the question, what if? And every time you start questioning what if, and why, those are the questions that run you down a rabbit hole of, what if we made this thing white? What if this thing was a bit maybe blue instead of red? So that kind of stuff. That's how
So product development is really maybe one of the areas where you truly feel engaged.
Yep.
And you said it's 3D printed, which again to me is brilliant. So 3D printing here in Kenya is where your facility is doing this. What did it take to get that capacity going to be able to 3D print these devices?
Oh yeah, so there's so much that's available here in the country that people don't usually take advantage of.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. So when we were starting this thing out, we didn't have like money for 3D printers or anything. So, but it so happens that the U.S. Embassy in Kenya, they have this thing called American Corner. American Corner usually has a lot of equipment. They have podcasting equipment, they have 3D printers, they have laptops, not laptops, like this is the best of MacBooks,
Right.
Yeah, not just laptops. Like they have
superior
the highest
machines.
Yeah, and people don't use them.
So they're just accessible for anybody.
Yeah, you just speak nicely to the guy who's at the door and tell them, oh, hi, go to Maktaba in like the library, National
Yeah.
Library at Upper Hill. You can access them. You're a Kenyan, so you just go and like, hi, my name is this and this. I want to access this, and they'll be like, yeah, sign here, and then start using.
So, any youthful person out there listening who has an idea and thinking, where do I even begin? What would
Yep.
you tell them? Go here.
Go. What's the worst that could happen? They'll just tell you no.
Okay.
And we work with people like Konza. And it's a government facility. They have all these programs they're doing for incubation for young people and startups and all that for free. Again, it's Kenyan taxpayer money. So you just go to Konza and you're like, hey, hi. And
How
they're
you
like,
doing? I got a pitch for you.
Kind of have to have some personality. But let's talk about what you're doing and how that could be a blueprint, so to speak, for the young generation. Because if there's anything that we're well aware of, is this generation is struggling
Yeah.
to just come out well educated. But where do you go? Where are these jobs? Well, it's conventional. Get a job, you succeeded. Old school parents will somehow still have that mentality. But then
Yeah.
we have a generation which is first impatient if you're not paying attention to them. Secondly, innovative. And thirdly, ambitious and willing to work, just not for you, for
Yeah.
themselves. So, as a blueprint, how do you see this expanding away from you to the rest of the youthful generation looking for work or employment, or at least to become entrepreneurs in the country?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your question. That's actually something that I'm really passionate about and something that I try to kind of think every day. And you see, the thing is, honestly, in Africa, we are like almost a saturation point of creating jobs for people. So now it's people who need to create jobs for other people because the jobs, look, we are having about, I think, 11 million people coming out of educational institutions in Africa. And we can only provide work for less than a quarter of them. So all these people, where are they going to go, you know? So we need to start thinking of how do we make young people in a position that they can create employment for themselves and for other people as well. Because if you rely on the government, there's only so much they can do. If you rely on existing companies, there's only so much they can do. And now, you know, with the whole AI, you're having massive layoffs.
Yeah.
So we need to start thinking of how do young people start generating their own ventures. Brings me to something else that I'm really passionate about, which is, again, how do we solve the problems? So look at this. About a fifth of us in Africa don't have access to clean water, right? About a quarter of us don't have access to electricity in our day-to-day lives. But in the same continent, right, we have water wastage. In the same continent, we have the most abundant sunlight. In the same continent where people are dying of hunger, we still have a lot of massive food loss because food is going bad. So if I was to go back in campus, I'll start thinking of these problems, right? And I'll be like, so we have a problem of electricity. But at the same time, globally, the cost per watt of solar panel has been going down exponentially. Like really, 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 really fast. If you draw a graph of price versus time, it just goes down.
Yeah.
And now the question should be, as a young person, what skills can I learn? What knowledge should I acquire so that I can be able to install these technologies in my rural homestead, so that I can be able to get to learn how these things are made, get them from China and install them somewhere in these places, or become a middleman for the companies that are doing that. Because the other thing is the cost of electricity has gone up.
Yeah.
Right?
And could have gone further, but it was
Yes.
rejected by the courts. Thank goodness for that.
I know, yeah, but the thing is, like, people can install their own solar panels at their own homes, and it can serve you. And why don't young people have the skills to do that, right? Looking at something else like food wastage, why don't we have enough technologies for that? Why don't young people come up with things? Why don't we cooperate as young people to come up with ideas and, you know, you're good at this, I'm good at this, let's make an app that can help these people to do this and these people to do this, and this guy is good at transport, and then we do that. You see, these are things that I think now coming back to now creating employment, using these problems, That's how we create employment for young people.
It's very interesting that you say that because from what I heard at the beginning, when you were like, I told my friends, hey, and then we're like, how about we make an app for this?
Yeah.
There's a thing with the older generation, which you can see slightly with some of the younger generation upcoming, of wanting to succeed on your own, lacking the partnership or the will to partner with people so that you get a slice of a big pie instead of a whole pie
Yeah.
of that's the size of a slice,
Yeah.
which is mind-boggling. And for you, that's what you just said. Partner with people.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to do that. It's actually
Yes.
successful.
Yeah, because thing is, Rome was never built by one person, right? And to your point, you'd rather have a 0.1% share of Amazon or Walmart than have a 100% share of that duka or kibanda next to you.
Yes, true that,
True. Because the thing is, I'm good, for example, at engineering, right? You're good at communication. She's good at something. And if we were to bring together our skills, we might make something that's much bigger than what you can create, than what you can create, than what I can create, right? And if you were to learn anything from all the technologies that you can see having changed the world, things like Toyota, that's been big for Japan, things like even Amazon. They have like a lot of people working to just solve the same kind of problems and all this, because when you put together people of different skill sets and backgrounds and mindsets, you get to like grow really big.
Here's the thing. I know, who's this? Murkomen, Honorable Murkomen, let's just say that. CS Murkomen is
Yes,
in the US,
Murkomen, yes.
right? Boom. Benchmarking, NYPD,
Yeah.
just so that we can possibly get that kind of feel right here at home. I think they should have just watched some series and figured it out. This benchmarking thing really doesn't work from government
Netflix.
officials. Yeah, but interestingly enough, you've had the opportunity to benchmark without intentionally benchmarking by going out there, the exposure. And I'm just wondering, from a realistic point of view, now that you brought in the university angle, are we learning, are our education system teaching the future generation or empowering them with knowledge and skill that allows them to come up and be you?
I'll answer this in two ways, right? So one, there is the academia education, right? And number two, there is what does not happen in class. So what happens in class is not happening. I did engineering, right?
Yeah.
I went to Alliance. This is what I should say that. And then went to engineering school. Had a whole year of COVID, so did 6 years instead of 5. I was not taught how to do pitch decks. I was not taught how to raise money from investors. I was not taught how to, do marketing for your own brand, how to create your own company, and how to vet CVs. Instead, I was taught how to write CVs and send them. I was not taught how to be on the other side. I was not taught how to interview. I was taught how to be interviewed, right? And these are skills that, if you were creating a space where young people should be able to create employment for other people, or they should also be able to create employment for themselves, they need these skills, right? They need to know how to pay taxes. They need to know all these things, which we are not taught. At least I was not taught. So that's one. Number two, what does not happen in class. I'll give you a playbook of, for example, what we saw last month when President Trump went to China and to meet Xi Jinping.
Yes.
What happened is that Trump carried his best innovators, business people, and people who would actually move the U.S. economy.
Yeah, like the gentleman for NVIDIA. I think we saw a lot
Yes.
of other
You
entrepreneurs
saw
there.
Jensen, you saw the CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai, you saw the
Yes.
CEO of Microsoft, you saw Elon, you saw
Musk
all
was
these.
there, yeah.
Yeah, you saw all these people. And on the other hand, Xi Jinping does the same thing. He brings out the best of his country, right? And so my question when you say that CS Murkomen has gone there will be like, who else is there, right? It's enough.
Good
It's
question.
it's good for him to go, rightly so. He is in charge of that ministry. But then, do we have private sector solution providers, or even young people who've gone with him? Because, fortunately or unfortunately, his term will come to an end, right? But then the private sector is going to be here for much longer than his political seat is going to be here, and usually private sectors, they have the money and they usually dictate the direction where the country is going to.
Yeah.
So my question will be, how many people from the private sector have gone, and how much innovation and technology are we going to see as a result of this visit? That's how we say this is successful or not.
Well, we'll come back and have a conversation about the youth and success and creating job opportunities for them with Joseph Nguthiru, because that conversation will lead us to Afroclimate, which is a non-profit organization focused on, like you said, empowering young African entrepreneurs to scale climate solutions across the continent. So 2 birds with 1 stone, create something that will deal with the topic of the decade, climate. All right? Protecting and sustainability, the topic of the decade, and at the same time create opportunities for the youth. That's a conversation we don't want to miss out on. But before we come to the youth and their future, how about we deal with the old folks on their way out? Davis up next with the headlines in just a moment. But first, your roads.
Capital Classified.
LG and Hotpoint are bringing the raw of the stadium straight to your living room. Feel every cheer, every tackle, every near miss, and every unforgettable goal with stunning visuals and powerful surround sound from LG TVs and soundbars. Whether you're watching with the squad or cheering solo, every match feels bigger, louder, and more exciting. This season, don't just watch the game. Feel every moment, because with LG, life's good. Shop at all 13 Hotpoint outlets, countrywide and online at hotpoint.co.ke.
Capital Classified.
What does social impact really mean in today's business environment? Capital FM, in partnership with Impact Africa, invites you to the Sustainability Town Hall on Thursday, the 11th of June, 2026, at Strathmore University from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Join leaders, innovators, and changemakers as we unpack the social pillar of ESG and the role of organizations in building inclusive, resilient communities. Sustainability Town Hall 2026, powered by Capital FM and Impact Africa.
Capital Traffic and Travel.
Well, I'll tell you what, 3 roads that you probably want to avoid this morning if you are in a rush. The Airport North Road, which at this point I should say avoid every morning, up to 9-minute delays. The A104, good people, slow down sections of it, up to 7-minute delays. And Waiakue Red Hill Link Road, especially as you head on towards the ABC roundabout, you will deal with a bit of a snarl up in terms of the traffic with 8-minute delays. Any incident or accident, holla at us, 0701-984-984, or tell us via X at 984 in the morning using the hashtag drive-in, spell that with a double N.
Alrighty, and as you're driving out and about, of course, you want to be covered, right? So NCBAIG Motor Insurance is a way that you are driving about stress-free, because you've got that peace of mind knowing that no matter what comes through, NCBA is there for you. They cover repairs, theft, and third-party claims as well. While the travel insurance, by the way, does protect you against, let's say, things like lost luggage, cancellations, emergencies abroad if you are driving to the airport, for example. So you might want to have that in your back pocket too. NCBA really does insure every moment.
Absolutely. Sports news will not be coming up, but we at least have the headlines coming your way.
Capital Traffic and Travel. Capital News Headlines with Family Bank.
World leaders gather for Eye Care Summit here in Nairobi. Ebola facility round deepens as government stands firm, and Israel and Lebanon agree to implement ceasefire.
Through our Inua Shula solutions, we support schools with tailored financing for expansion, transport, and ITC infrastructure, empowering the next generation of learners and leaders. Tuko Imara Pamoja. Family Bank, with you for life. Family Bank is regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya.
NCBA is regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya.
Previously on The Jam with June and Martin.
Track that's dedicated to all the landlords out there who are about to start making calls in the next day or two. Most of our leases or tenancy agreements say on or before the 5th of the month. Aki landlord, Tulia. God will bless you, even if it's not us. Do you guys remember this last season of Bridgerton? Did you watch it when all the helps? I've spoken to 3 people whose helpers and nannies have disappeared. They've just decided they're not coming to work. Yes! This is kind of like, it's kind of feeling like a culture playlist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw some real greats on stage last weekend. Harry Kimani, you always will have our hearts. And please come back. Give us more music. We have a lot of time for you. You're listening to The Jam in the month of June. It is Wednesday. It's the 3rd of June. And yes, you guessed it. In 5 days' time, it'll be my birthday. So you can send a hello. You can send a whatever. The whole month is mine up until June 2027.
Previously on The Jam with June and Martin.
Morning, sunshine. Good morning.
From the boardroom to the highway, Chico and Malika have your soundtrack right here on Capital in the Morning.
You get a fast car, I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. You get a fast car, I got a plan to get us out of here. Been working at the convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money. Won't have to drive too far. Just cross the border and into the city. You and I can both get jobs and finally see what it means to be living. See, my old man's got a problem. Yeah, but the bottle, that's the way it is. He says his body's too old for working. His body's too young to look like his. My mama went off and left him. She wanted more from life than he could give. I said, somebody's got to take care of him. So I quit school and that's what I did. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? We gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights day out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. We go cruise and entertain ourselves. Still ain't got a job. Now work in the market as a checkout girl. I know things will get better. You'll find work and I'll get promoted. We'll move out of the shelter, buy a bigger house and live in the suburbs. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights day out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone.
Sounds of Tracy Chapman. What a name. Fast car playing right here on Capital in the Morning. Speaking of names, Tracy Chapman, dope name. Malika, Kazia, dope name. As Joseph, predictable, but less predictable than the one. Okay, at least he has Nguthiru. You know, kind of what a name. But then there's June, born in the month of June, who should probably go and tell mommy, Thanks, Mom. That was really brilliantly creative of you.
You know,
100%.
we just heard the link that Arjun says her birthday is 5 days away, now 4 days away.
Yes,
I believe you said 8th,
sadly,
right?
yeah.
And I just said, wow, June was born in June. And you're like, yeah, it's probably why she's called June. Like, hello.
Mom was really creative, you know, like all out creativity. Speaking of all out creativity, now that we're with Joseph right here, speaking, you remember he is the UN award-winning Earth lover right here on Capital in the Morning. You have to be creative if you are going to have an impact in this society, but then at least limit yourself. There's actually an interesting story that I was just reading up on. Australians can get really creative, and some of them push the limits. Unlike you, Joseph, there's a guy who's come up with taxidermied rats sewn on underwear.
What?
Ladies, lingerie, grab a rat, kill it, stretch out its skin, put it on the underwear, let them wear. Fashion is taking a different turn.
Is biodiversity the idea here, or
I have no idea, but I can tell you what.
spreading of UTIs? I don't know.
I don't know what they're thinking, but I know what they're using. Lip balm on their mouth. That is the generation we are raising as men to think about that, because no woman would have thought about that.
How much do they sell that thing for?
I hope it's too expensive to be bought, because what in heaven's name? Anyway, there's a whole backlash. It's an interesting story. I'll probably post a link just for you to enjoy for yourself. Meanwhile, I want us to enjoy the company of the man we have here in studio. Joseph, one of the things I said I wanted to talk about right now is the Afro climate. Tell us about that and how we could use that or a semblance of that to probably paint a picture of the future and how we should approach situations for the youth and employment.
Oh, yeah, thank you. So, Afroclimate started also as a project that we were given, myself and two other colleagues from our cohort at the Obama Foundation. And we were just doing a presentation that we were going to present to everyone as a side project. And it so happened to be really good. People loved it so much, and we had to make it into a whole non-profit. So Afroclimate, afroclimate.org, you can check it out.
Yeah.
It's registered as a non-profit in the US and in Mauritius. Yeah, that's the other problem, because it's much easier to register companies in Mauritius and Rwanda than in Kenya.
It's crazy.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so it's registered in Mauritius and the US. And what we do is that we empower African entrepreneurs and young people working on the climate space. So access to funding, visibility, media, people in policy, academia, and so on. And so we work with people doing like clean cooking stoves in Nigeria. We work with people doing mangroves along the coast of Kenya. We work with women doing banana farming also in Uganda. We do some also work in Madagascar and so on. And yeah, the realization is like there are a lot of opportunities, as I said, and lot low-hanging fruits. If you just take agriculture as an example, why should it be that the median age of a farmer is 60 years? You know, in a continent where we cannot feed ourselves, we import food, and we have a median age of 19. That's a crime, right?
It is.
So how do we get more young people into agriculture and support them in a way that agriculture will seem fashionable, in a way that's going to feed them, right? It's going to like provide for their basic needs, but also feed the continent. So these are some of the things that we're trying to look at and think about at Afroclimate, and we've been lucky to have support from a lot of people and also a lot of alumni also from the Obama Foundation, and yeah, we're doing like a lot of stuff.
How's the governmental support for youth trying to venture into innovative businesses?
I could play the devil's advocate, or I could be really good on this particular question, because it goes both ways, right? So the good, the bad, and the ugly is that we have a lot of support, but it's so fragmented and so disjointed that it doesn't support. Right? You have people like KIRDI, Kenya Industrial Research Development Institute. They have good facilities, they have all this kind of stuff, but they don't have funding, so they can't like necessarily fund people. You have Kenya National Innovation Agency, which we've worked with also. They provided us with a bit of capital when we were starting. Capital at capital. Yeah.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
Hashtag. You can't make this up.
I know, right? And you see, they have like really good policies and really good stuff they go, but how much amount of money they can give is like really small.
Yeah.
but in a continent where most top 10 of the highest raising startups in Africa, at least for last year, were mostly in the energy space. And this just tells you how much attention is in the climate sphere of like Africa. But then they're raising ballparks of millions of USD from seed round and Series A and so on. Kenya will give you something much lower than that, of course. So there is kind of support, but it's not as much as you would think of. Yeah.
Do you think it probably needs to come down to the county level to kind of, to the grassroots where people can access it from no matter which stage of business they're at as well?
You mean like CDF?
No, you're right. No, actually, both of you are right. Because if I was to think of something that the government should do and that will be doing and that can do, is that why don't we make a policy that says 10% of CDF or county funds goes to local SMEs and goes to locally sourced materials and such kind of stuff. And what you do is that you get the money from the government and it goes back to the people. It starts helping these SMEs, it starts helping the startups and so on. So why don't we make a policy that says that there is a Uganda have this thing. It's called the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda, and Rwanda also has kind of the same model.
Yeah,
they're not perfect, but they're kind of trying.
Functional.
Yeah. Why don't we have the same thing here? Like instead of outsourcing things that we can actually do. Take an example of why do we have to print voters' cards and ballots from Venezuela? What don't we have printers in Kenya? These are things that
I love the reasoning. Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly think that if we made it a policy that Kenyan startups, entrepreneurs, and so on will get the priority, then we will feed into the economy and we'll have like a really big growth rate. The same thing that Trump is trying to do in the US.
We always talk about youth empowerment. We always talk about entrepreneurship, the business environment, a very young nation that we are and the potential. But truly, you have to put the pedal to the metal and do these kind of things and go into the microcosm. But, even as we sort of wind down, Joseph, there is a very prestigious event, of course, you attended, the United Nations General Assembly, which is where you were honored last year. And there was this whole incident where President Trump said, these escalators, why are we giving the UN money? I think half his speech at that point was literally saying, why?
Complaining?
What is this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and the other half was saying that climate change is a hoax.
What was that like for you?
Oh, it was dramatic. That same day is when we were being awarded by the UN, right? And they had done all these press releases to media houses and so on. So it was supposed to be really fancy, and it's one of
decorum.
I know, right? And then so happens that Trump comes in, escalator doesn't work, the transcript stuff does not roll
the
out.
auto cue thing.
Yeah, that doesn't work. The headphones that people usually have for translation. So this guy is mad. Everything is not working. And then so the whole media, we didn't even get like anything in the media. It's not like the Trump show, Yeah. But it was really, I think, sad for him as a head of state, right?
That the escalator
didn't work. For everyone else. Because it was like, oh my God, this is something that does not usually happen. The escalator doesn't ever stop anywhere, right? To anyone. And then this is the president, and it cannot work. And the microphone. So when he says something like climate change is a hoax, and he starts talking about climate change, they switch off the channels, and then if it was Portuguese,
oh really?
Yeah, if it's Portuguese, you hear Chinese, or something like that, and then he stops talking about climate, it goes back to.
So we're scrambling the negative opinions, rather.
Yeah, because of course, like he cut the funding to UN,
yes.
And he had all this drama with them, saying all this kind of stuff. So. Yeah, it was poetic justice.
Oh, yeah, speaking of poetic, I just like the way you caught your mouth there as you were saying all these kind of stuff. Yeah, right. Listen, you may not have gotten that moment that you guys well deserved because it became a Trump show, but you have your moment in eternity and in history because you have been absolutely sensational with what you're doing, and we hope that the youth of Kenya can be just as entrepreneurial as innovative as you have been, and it's good to hear that you are also thinking about the next generation and where their shot will come in. Yep. It's a pleasure to have you, Joseph. Just a quick one. Every time I see We're horrible at keeping time. It should be news time right now. But yeah, don't worry. We see Davis and we ignore him, and then he just sits there, looks at us, and judges us. But we move on. Then we get letters later, and then we move on. But before we move on, I have a quick one.
Yeah.
If you are young and you're looking at this continent and you want to try become innovative, go to where the business is more conducive, where would you think the best market is?
Oh my God. I have a lot of ideas on this one. My God, might take a whole hour. But just in summary, one, start with agriculture. Big thing. People must eat every day. We have a whole problem of feeding the continent, so that's something. Number two, go into energy. Energy is being funded like crazy. Like all energy startups I know are raising like a lot of money. Number three, AI. Because I also feel that we as a continent have a lot of potential. We're not utilizing. All our data is being outsourced to like US and so on. So let's do something on that. Those are my top three things. But then I will also go on to speak about things like water systems, which is also like a really big thing. But agriculture should be the top of the list, in my opinion.
Agriculture, AI, and
Energy.
obviously energy.
Yep.
And if you can, water systems.
Yeah.
There we go. The message and advice from Joseph Nguthiru, also known as the African Superman. Why? Because he's a young champion of the earth, fighting to make money and save the earth at the same time, and create opportunities for the youth. Joseph, man, thank you very much. We'll allow you to head on back to Egypt to ensure that economy does not collapse. It's a biblical reference. Forget I said it.
Crazy. I'm literally going there tomorrow.
Oh my goodness.
I was there three weeks ago, I think. Yeah. So Rudy Misri, Shonana Ukirudi, man. Thank you for your time.
Thank you,
all the best. We have to keep in touch because you have to come back and let's celebrate a few more awards which are coming your way.
Thank
and the most important award is you uplifting someone else. Stretch that hand down, lift up as many as you can. And we're right behind you.
Asante sana. Yeah, thank you so much.
Toyo Success Studios asa yo.